Welcome to my second webinar. I am so excited to go through the Feel Empowered Everyday experience with you. But first, a little about my mission. My goal is to offer you something I wish I would have had years ago, a better understanding of myself, given that I have learned that the relationship you have with yourself is at the center of all other relationships. Since everything in life is based on some type of relationship, whether it's with people, time, money, work, school, driving, hobbies, or anything else you embark on a daily basis, how you feel about and interact with yourself first is of the utmost importance. There are three types of power that determine the course of a relationship: powerless, where you by choice, by circumstance, or by coercion give your power to someone else and proceed according to their terms. Powerful, where you try to exert power over someone or something outside of your realm of control, or in other words, outside of yourself. Empowerment, where you live with the strength and confidence to control your own life without the need to control outside of yourself. After experiencing a pendulum effect of powerless and powerful, I finally found the sweet spot of empowerment that I yearn to share with you. You will take your relationships to the next level by feeling empowered every day. Feeling lost? Maybe you're not sure which way to go. It took several major life changes occurring all at one time for me to learn the importance of emotional intelligence and how to increase it. We are programmed to think that life is hard, relationships take a lot of work, and no one seems to look for help until they are already crashing and burning in some way. Why wait? Why not seek guidance before you go off track too far? It shouldn't have to take going through what I did or experiencing some other type of difficulty to find a way to live life on your own terms in order to enjoy healthy, respectful relationships. I've always been a big believer in a proactive, preventative approach, but previously just had really no idea where to turn for this kind of support. Unfortunately, the emphasis growing up is placed on your intellectual growth, even though IQ is fixed, while emotional and relational growth is not taught, even though EQ is changeable and accounts for 80% of success in life, according to Forbes. The lack of how to deal with our feelings goes well beyond being an emotional wreck, most of us would equate that to, and shows up in your daily life on a regular basis, creating the stress, frustration, worry, or possibly anger you are ready to ditch. Think of everything in life that you don't think twice about taking a proactive role in, whether it's maintenance, such as oil changes, lawn care, and dental checkups, or committing to practicing like sports, piano lessons, or learning a skill or language. You will not only avoid issues when you maintain your relationships, but you'll also enjoy the benefits of ones that continually get even stronger. So, you ready to try a new direction? Well, you're in the right place if you're interested in taking an alternate route to that typical path that many end up following. You realize that avoidance is not the answer, but therapy or some type of professional care may be overkill at this point. You know you can't go on the way things are any longer. Or maybe you're in the midst of a major life change and are seeking direction before you go off track. There are not a lot of options out there for objective, unbiased, straightforward, tangible guidance. So most of us end up turning to friends and family to get opinions, advice, or just vent to. But that usually leads to a dead end when searching for actual solutions. Well, I've got you because I was once in your shoes, which is why I created a way to share the solution that has worked wonders for me. Some of you may be thinking, hey, wait a minute. If you're not a therapist, counselor, psychologist, or life coach, can you really help me and my family? And the answer is yes, because I stay in my lane. I don't try to do everything that they do. I simply offer you the keys, compass, and personalized map to live life on your own terms and guide you in getting started. And given that I was once where you are, who better to guide you through it? Understanding your strengths will bring you a feeling of oneness and uniqueness morphed all together. We all possess the same traits, but use them differently from one another. This will help lead you to the best solutions for yourself and your relationships. So, what is Feel Empowered Everyday's approach? Well, I was tired of trying to explain myself, justify why I did things the way I did, and rationalize that I was not a bad person because my thought process may have been different. This was especially difficult when I really didn't have a good, solid grasp on who I was actually in the first place, having spent so much of my life defining my worth based on how others valued me. When I was going through all my life changes at once, I had no choice but to figure myself out if I wanted to move forward. So I jumped into the personal development world. I learned a lot of good information, but found myself feeling actually bad when I wasn't able to implement it all. Some tactics worked for me, but I really struggled with others. In the process, I took several personality quizzes trying to get answers. However, I didn't really find what I was looking for since I was just put into some type of category that, yeah, of course, represented me, but it didn't really provide personal insight. It wasn't until I learned about the Clifton Strengths Assessment and their true meaning from an experienced strengths coach that I found the answers I had been searching for. He showed me how my results were unique to me and unlike anyone else in the world, and how the meaning of each of the 34 traits varied depending on where they showed up in my specific order based on the results ranking. Even though this tool was originally designed for the workplace, his depth of knowledge expands far beyond, including every facet of life, primarily on an interpersonal level. I was enamored at the impact it had on me. So I proceeded to do a deep dive into studying his teachings. This was at the same time that, due to the experience I was having with the middle schoolers I was working with, I decided I needed to help address their anxiety and pressures by becoming an emotional intelligence practitioner. I used what helped me find peace and contentment with who I am and finally be able to feel empowered every day to create a strengths based emotional intelligence program to help others do the same. I charted the 6 steps I became mindful of for the foundation in my relationships: self awareness, self understanding, self acceptance, self embracement, self management, and self empowerment. When these became clear to me, I found myself no longer having to rationalize or justify my actions. I was free to be me and finally understood what that meant. When we have a strong sense of self, it makes it easier for others to be aware of, understand, accept, embrace, and respect us as well. We learn to replace expectations with boundaries, or what I call respectations. We live life on our own terms instead of thinking we need to be more like someone else. I say all of this to provide a background in how I developed the program that is now working for so many others as well. We all fundamentally have a desire to be accepted for who we are, and I help pave the way for you to experience life authentically. Think of it as permission to be yourself, just the way you are, without feeling like you should be more like someone or something else in order to measure up or be respected. And how does feel empowered every day work? Well, when you work with me, we will have a complimentary conversation call to spend about 20 minutes connecting. Once we decide how to move forward, whether it's just you, you and another person, or you and your whole family, I will send you each a link to take the Clifton Strengths Assessment online through Gallup to take it at your convenience. Once I receive the ranking of your traits, I will do a comprehensive evaluation to provide you with a personalized explanation of the results. If there is more than one of you, I'll also do a comparison of all 34 traits. We will set up a meeting to go over the results. I focus primarily on your top 10 and bottom 5 strengths, discuss how they show up for you, and give insight as to how you operate best. It's all very positive. There's nothing critical or judgmental about it. I don't try to get you to change in some way, and we don't point out faults or refer to weaknesses. I simply provide you with a depiction of your gifts and how to use them to your advantage while being mindful of where you may veer off in relational issues with yourself or others. I use this information as a fast track through the self awareness process, which is the foundation for building a stronger emotional intelligence. So, who does Feel Empowered Every Day benefit? Well, I originally created Feel Empowered Every Day as an after school club to help the middle schoolers I was working with learn emotional intelligence tools. I don't look back through my life with regrets, but I also can't help but wonder what it would have been like to grow up feeling confident in myself, so I didn't have to rely on others to provide what I needed. I tended to let others determine how I felt about myself and placed more value on their opinions of me instead of relying on my own self worth. This led to all kinds of stress and anxiety stemming from unhealthy relationships, namely the one with myself. I have a strong desire to help teens navigate through those turbulent years in a way I wish I would have been able to do. But just as I was about to pitch the idea to the school district, it closed due to COVID. It was during this time that I realized this program could span well beyond teenagers due to the struggles so many adults were having as well. Relationships were being tested in a way they had never been before. Not to mention, it often takes the whole dynamic in a relationship to implement solutions. So I decided to open up a practice for individuals, couples, and families who desire to improve some type of their relationship in their lives. I work with people who are searching for practical solutions to everyday problems or ways to strengthen meaningful bonds. When in life should you try to feel empowered every day? Well, I'm living proof that it's never too late, and I firmly believe that it's never too early to benefit from emotional intelligence. In fact, it is what I credit being able to, for the first time in my life, experience a healthy relationship based on respect. And my grown children now enjoy a mom who's calm, confident, and in control, but not controlling. It took my life coming completely apart for me to realize that the way I was living was not serving anyone because I was avoiding myself. I help those that are looking to stop dwelling on the negative and start focusing on the positive. I don't mean in a superficial, oh, if I just tell myself everything is great, then it's great kind of way. I mean, we're all taught from a young age that we should spend our time and effort improving our weaknesses rather than spend that energy on making our strengths even stronger. But when we flip that and acknowledge our attributes as our gifts, we view ourselves in a positive light that we can then shine on others. This is particularly challenging when faced with changes in life that test our confidence or lead us to uncharted territory. If you're navigating through a new situation in life or know you need to make some type of change, this is the perfect time to benefit from increasing your emotional intelligence to give you clear guidance. And why does feel empowered every day's information make a difference? Well, I view life as a road trip we all take, but can go about very differently. When traveling, it is possible to reach your destination by just winging it. However, the trip will be much less stressful if done using a map to show you the best way and to point out obstacles to avoid. I refer, I offer that map personalized especially for you. I do not have a one size fits all cookie cutter program. The information I provide from the results of the assessment that are unlike anyone else will help set you on the course to live life on your own terms, according to how you do things authentically. When we struggle with something or someone, chances are it's because we're ultimately struggling with ourselves. Learning how to live a strengths based life with a strong emotional intelligence will pave the way for success in all areas of your life. You will soon find yourself recognizing how and when your strengths show up and impact the way you feel about what you're doing. This sets you on the course to adjust your mindset and manage your behavior to line up with your top strengths. You'll also see how the bottom strengths create roadblocks and how to take a detour back up into your tops. Before you know it, this will all be happening naturally due to being conscious of how you operate on such a high level. The peace and contentment that comes with being in control of yourself, so you don't need to try to control other people or outside situations, is why feeling empowered every day makes such a difference in your life. Where can I use what I learned from Feel Empowered every day? The Clifton Strengths Assessment was originally designed to benefit workplace teams, but the coach I study under has an incredible way of applying their benefits to your personal life as well as professional. This is what makes them a perfect fit for the emotional intelligence work I do. When we have a better understanding of who we uniquely are and how we do things best, we are better equipped to respect others for their own attributes, gifts, or differences. And so much of life is set up around expectations. However, expectations enforce an air of resentment rather than respect by emphasizing a power dynamic that many don't respond well to. Think about it. When we set up expectations, we're ultimately setting everyone up for disappointment. But when we set boundaries, or what I call respectations, based on the premise that we are all meant to be and do things differently, we appreciate rather than admonish those differences. I find my strengths showing up in every single area of my life. And the more I learn to lean into them, the less stress I experience. They are particularly helpful in dealing with relationships of all types and facing some sort of life change that can be difficult to navigate through without a clear map of how we do things best. Think of all the relationship dynamics you encounter on a daily basis. Everything from the internet interaction with the clerk at the grocery store to the coffee shop barista, all the other customers around, coworkers, friends, family members, and in particular, the teens, parents, and spouses are affected by what strengths or traits you're presenting. Mine are tested the most when I'm driving. My number two activator strength takes over with impatience taking charge. All others are left by the wayside. So I'm now cognizant of how to approach this dynamic with the mindfulness of my other top strengths that might serve me and the other drivers better. I also notice when I drop into my bottom strengths, particularly when I start to compare myself to others or overthink, letting myself go down a rabbit hole. I'll offer you refreshers of your strengths beyond the initial meeting so you'll become well versed at noticing their many benefits throughout your daily life as well. If you're ready to travel down the road of self empowerment, let's go through your strengths with a personalized explanation of your unique attributes. This level of awareness will open the door for you to understand on a deeper level how you do things best for yourself, which ultimately benefits others. Accept that traits you most likely brush off or just take for granted are actually your gifts. Learn to embrace these gifts in a way that creates a clarity, confidence, and certainty you love about yourself so that you can manage your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors in a positive manner that strengthens who you are while respecting those around you, creating an authentic life where you feel empowered every day to be yourself instead of trying to be more like someone or something else. Once you have a grasp of doing this for yourself, you're then able to give this gift of freedom to others by honoring who they are instead of trying to make them or think they should be and do things like you. After struggling for so many years myself, I can't tell you how liberated I am by living a strengths based, emotionally intelligent life that brings me peace and enjoyment I never dreamed of experiencing. But don't take my word for it. Come see for yourself.